One of the primary themes of the Alexander Forbes Benefits Barometer is the whole issue of fragmentation, both within the sector and within the players in the industry, the retirement funds industry. So what we're simply saying is that we're not talking to each other, as the various stakeholders within this industry, in actually ensuring that our members retire meaningfully. What has tended to happen over time is that the investment strategy has not necessarily been talking more to the liability strategy. And by this I mean that there needs to be a link between the investment strategy or the asset manager strategy and the liability management strategy. And through this, I mean that at different stages of a member in a retirement fund, there's a need to actually understand where they are, what their needs are, depending on how much they have preserved, looking at their age, and looking at their contribution rate. So there's a need to match that. But what has tended to happen in the marketplace is that products have been sold that seek to generate the highest return possible. And those strategies may not necessarily be okay for all the members. So there is a need at all times to be able to look at the needs of the member and say what strategies are actually in place. Let's take an example of somebody that has built up this fund reserve, but they're at a stage whereby they need to preserve that value. There is always a need to look at the needs of that person at that time and find the appropriate strategies at a point in time to be able to preserve their value and meet their retirement objectives in time. So it's a dynamic process. It's not just a one-size-fits-all strategy around investments. And that's something that the market has missed over time. So there is a need at all times for members to go back and forth and understand what their needs are, to look at their needs, to look at where they are at in life in terms of their preservation, and can what they have at a point in time be able to meet their needs at retirement so that they can avoid any shocks at the point of retirement. Now, there is a need in the marketplace to move away from an asset manager-centric strategy of looking at retirement fund management to more a balanced view of this, which is the asset manager needs to talk to the liability manager. At all times, there needs to be this dynamic movement or this balance between the two. Otherwise, we find ourselves with problems, particularly that the market is a very dynamic place. It changes at all times, and by not managing the liabilities right, through the correct asset manager strategy, we may introduce a greater level of risk into this retirement pot. So as a result, the key message that I'm trying to put across is that we do need to actually ensure that we manage the two tensions, the liability side and the asset manager on the one hand, to actually ensure that we come out with the correct outcomes.